Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're diving into something that's super relevant to, well, pretty much everyone listening, how the EU is trying to make products last longer and be better for the planet.
And we're talking about a huge shift here, not just tweaking a few things, but a whole new approach to how products are designed, used, and, importantly, what happens to them when we're done with them.
Yeah, no more tossing something out because it breaks after a year, right? We've all been there. So, to get into this, we dug through a ton of EU documents, official web pages, all that fun stuff.
Which, let me tell you, can be pretty dense reading.
Definitely not light bedtime reading. But that's our job, to dig out the good stuff and make it clear what this all actually means, especially for us as consumers. So, ready to decode the EU's eco-design revolution?
Absolutely. I think what's really interesting is how the EU got to this point. They didn't just wake up one day and decide to overhaul the entire system, right? It's been a journey.
Right, like most things, this wasn't an overnight thing.
Exactly. It started with a focus on energy efficiency. Remember those energy-saving light bulbs that everyone thought were going to be a disaster?
The death of the incandescent bulb, right?
Yeah,
Total drama.
exactly. That was back in 2009 with something called the Eco-Design Directive.
Catchy name.
Right. But basically, it was mainly focused on making sure things like light bulbs, washing machines, and other energy-consuming products used less power. And that was a good starting point, but
But it wasn't the whole picture.
exactly. The EU realized that sustainability is about way more than just energy consumption.
It's the whole life cycle, right? Like, what's it made of? How long will it last? What happens when you don't want it anymore?
Exactly. And that's where this new thing comes in the Eco-Design for Sustainable Products Regulation, or ESPR for short. And trust me, it's a mouthful.
ESPR. Got it. But it sounds like this ESPR thing is a total game changer, not just a little tweak to the system.
Oh, absolutely.
Hmm.
We're talking about a complete overhaul impacting practically every product you can imagine.
Okay, now you've got my attention. But, like, what does that actually look like? Are we all going to be forced to have, like, bamboo phone cases now or something? Okay, so no mandatory bamboo phone cases. Got it. But really, what are we talking about here? What's the EU actually trying to do with all this?
Well, think about it this way. You buy a new phone, right? And you're terrified of dropping it because you know if you do, it's game over. Screen shattered, you're stuck with a hefty repair bill, or you have to buy a whole new phone.
The struggle is real, am I right?
Right.
Mm.
But imagine if phones were actually designed to last. They were built to be durable, so you didn't have to treat them like they were made of glass.
Okay, I look where you're going with this. Durable phones, less e-waste, less stress.
Exactly. And it's not just about making things tougher, it's also about making them easier to fix.
Oh, tell me more about that because my last phone repair felt like open heart surgery.
Right. The ESPR is pushing for this idea of the right to repair. Basically, companies would have to make spare parts available, and repairs would have to be straightforward enough that you could even do them yourself or take them to an independent repair shop without voiding your warranty.
Okay, that is a game changer.
Yeah.
So, durable, repairable, anything else?
Lots more. This is all part of a bigger push towards what they call a circular economy, where products are designed from the start to be reused or repurposed at the end of their life. So it's not just about making things last longer, but also thinking about what happens to them when they're finally done. And a big part of that is information, which is where this whole digital product passport thing comes in.
Right, the digital passport thing. Okay, I have to admit, the first time I heard that, I pictured like my toaster getting stamped every time it crossed a border.
Oh.
What's the deal with that?
It's actually a pretty cool idea when you get into it.
Yeah.
Basically, imagine being able to scan a product with your phone and instantly see everything about it, what it's made of, where it came from, its carbon footprint. You could even see how to recycle it properly when the time comes.
Okay, so it's less about international travel for my toaster and more like giving every product a digital resume.
Exactly. It's all about transparency. Consumers would have the power to make more informed choices about the products they buy. Like, imagine you're looking at two pairs of sneakers, and one claims to be eco-friendly, but the other one has a digital product passport that shows you its whole life cycle. You can actually see the difference.
Okay, no more greenwashing then. I like it. But it also makes you think if companies know they have to be this transparent, they're going to have to up their game right now.
Exactly. It incentivizes sustainability. But here's something else that blew my mind when I was reading through these documents. Did you know that some companies actually destroy unsold goods?
Wait, seriously, like perfectly good stuff. Why on earth would they do that?
It sounds crazy, but apparently they do it to protect their brand image or to avoid having to sell things at a discount. They'd rather just destroy it.
That is unbelievable and so wasteful. So This ESPR thing puts a stop to that, right?
Oh yeah, it's cracking down. No more destroying perfectly good stuff. The goal is to encourage companies to find more sustainable ways to manage their surplus.
Okay, this is a lot to take in, but realistically, how does the EU plan to actually make sure companies follow all these new rules? Like, are they sending out the eco police?
Okay, so no eco-police, but they're still serious about making sure companies actually follow these rules, right?
Hmm,
Oh, absolutely. They're not messing around. One of the big things is stronger market surveillance.
market surveillance. Sound intense.
It is. Basically, they're going to be checking products coming into the EU market, making sure they meet the ESPR requirements. And if companies are caught trying to cheat the system,
Let me guess, hefty fines.
you got it. We're talking about penalties that could seriously hurt, even for big companies. So, yeah, they're putting some teeth into it.
Makes sense. Otherwise, why would companies bother, right? But you mentioned something earlier about eco-modulated taxes.
Oh, right. That's another tool in their arsenal.
It's a mouthful, though. Eco-modulated taxes. What does that even mean?
Basically, it's using taxes to encourage sustainable choices. So think about it like this. You go to buy a phone, and the one made with recycled materials is actually cheaper because it has a lower tax. Or, on the flip side, the phone that has a huge carbon footprint is more expensive because it has a higher tax.
Interesting. So it's like a reward system for both companies and consumers. Make good choices, pay less.
Exactly. It's about using financial incentives to steer everyone in the right direction.
It's kind of brilliant when you think about it, but this all sounds like a huge shift, right? Like not just for Europe, but for, oh, everyone.
Absolutely. The EU is kind of like a trendsetter in this way. What they do often has ripple effects around the world. So, yeah, this could really shake things up globally.
It's pretty exciting when you think about it. Though I'm not going to lie, it's also a bit overwhelming. There's so much information to unpack with all of this.
It really is a lot. But I think one of the most important takeaways from all of this, at least for me, is the power of information. That's what the digital product passport is all about.
Right. Giving consumers more power to make informed choices. No more shady supply chains, no more greenwashing. I'm into it.
Me too.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not a magic solution, but it's a huge step in the right direction.
definitely. Well, for everyone listening, if you're as intrigued by all of this as we are, don't worry. We're not throwing you into the deep end without a life preserver. We'll have links to all those EU documents, the official web pages, all that good stuff in the show notes.
Yeah, go check it out for yourself. Do some more digging.
Exactly, because who knew EU regulations could be this fascinating? Until next time, deep divers.